Hi everyone, welcome to this session. I should clarify, so I basically pulled the trick of moving to a country where figure skating was not really considered a sort of important sport, so that is a good trick for you if you want to become a champion, international champion. As Ada mentioned, my name is Caroline. I'm a product manager in the strategic integrations team at Atlassian. And of course, my co-presenter is Tessa, who is a senior associate in the business development team at Slack. So back in July, we announced a new partnership between Atlassian and Slack. And this announcement was really the culmination of seeing one product continue to stand out from the rest in the real-time collaboration space. And that product was Slack. So we believe that this partnership is a way for us to offer our customers the best of both worlds. So Atlassian's leading collaboration products, Jira, Confluence, Bitbucket, Trello, combined with Slack's leading business communications platform. We also truly believe that this combination of products is the best way to realize our vision of unleashing the potential of every team. Now, relevant to what we're going to be talking about today, this deeper partnership also delivers a joint vision of automating and simplifying the workflows that teams use to stay aligned, organized, and also productive. We're taking big steps together to really improve the experience of teams all around the world who use our products together on a daily basis. So, if you're new to Slack, Tessa's going to be talking to you about how it will unlock value for your teams, as well as how to get started, tips and tricks, and also how to leverage apps and integrations with Slack. And then I'm going to demo the integrations that we have in place supporting Atlassian products, and I'll actually talk to you about how my team uses those integration apps and how we use them to improve our workflows and also to continue to help move work forwards. So the products that we support with integration apps for Slack are firstly Jira Cloud, and we've actually just introduced some new features within the Jira Cloud app in support of the newly announced Jira Ops, Bitbucket Cloud, Trello, and of course Confluence Cloud, for which we literally just launched the integration about 4 days ago. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Tessa.
Price, and I am on the business development team at Slack. And today, I want to walk you through a couple different scenarios that illustrate the power of Slack for teams, and also, as Caroline mentioned, a few tips and tricks that will hopefully help you kickstart your own Slack activity. But before we get started, what is Slack? Slack is a collaboration hub. It's a place that brings together people and information so that teams can stay informed, bring all their tools together in one place, and ultimately ship projects faster. So what does that mean? It means we want to help you avoid this. Today, you may use email for your cross-functional communication, but we all know that email can fall short, right? Email distribution lists are often siloed, inboxes fill up quickly, threads are hard to keep track of, and aside from the occasional urgent in the subject line, there's really no hierarchy for prioritization. Slack wants to change that and improve your cross-functional communication. We want you to be able to better control and organize your information. We do this primarily with something we call channels. Channels, much like rooms, are at the heart of how we do work in Slack. Channels can be public, meaning that everyone within an organization has access to the information, or they can be private, meaning that only the select few individuals within that channel can see what's going on. Examples of channels might include triage, QA team, Paris office. Essentially, it can be anything like a must-read channel, where you're mostly consuming the information, like a company announcements channel, or it can be something much more granular, like a projects channel, where it's a select few individuals and you're collaborating in real time to get work done. But regardless of how you separate it, by project, by team, or by function, know that channels serve the purpose to keep your conversations on track and all of those project tasks focus. So what do you do in a channel? You share discussions and data and documents that come together in one easily shareable space, and then you discuss that data and those documents and those topics in real time via things we call posts, threads, and reacties. You can do this internally, you can invite guests, or you can actually set up a shared channel where you can work with external partners and clients and vendors who are outside of your company. Together, all of this helps provide the transparency that you need across multiple cross-functional teams to get work done. So now that we know a little bit about channels and the content that might go into channels, let's focus on best practices for how to engage. Firstly, you can star important items. Starring important conversations or channels allows you to prioritize what's important to you. When you star a channel, for example, it moves and floats up to the left-hand corner of your flex pane, where it's more easily accessible and referenceable. Examples of channels you might want to do this with include a one-on-one channel with your manager, or maybe a project you're really deeply involved with. You can also set something we call highlight words. Setting important highlight words is another prioritization tip. It allows you to focus on those topics that only you think are important. Let's say I'm a sales rep and Acme Corp is my most important client. I want to keep tabs on it across the organization, so I can set Acme Corp as a highlight word, and I'm able to see what may be going on internally with the account, even if I'm not a part of that channel or conversation. For example, here, an outage is seen with that customer by a customer experience agent. One of my most used features personally are app mentions. App mentions live in the upper right-hand corner of every Slack instance. There you can see who mentions you, who responds or reacts to your messages, all of your highlight words, and so forth. Think of it as your own personalized Slack feed, completely customizable to you. Reacties are also extremely popular on Slack. It's essentially using an emoji to express yourself rather than the added noise of replying. In this example, you can see that people are celebrating the kickoff of a new project channel with things like ta-das and sparkles, hand claps, hearts. And then below that, you can see some green check marks under the request for quarterly totals to be added to a projection spreadsheet. A green check mark at Slack means done. I've completed your request. A few other Reactgy examples that we use commonly at Slack include a set of eyes. When someone puts eyes on a message that you posted, it means I've seen your message, I'm taking a look. A more obscure example is actually a raccoon. When someone at Slack posts a raccoon to one of your messages, it actually means, hey, thanks for posting, but this is not at all relevant to this channel topic, please go somewhere else. Of course, Reactgies can also just be pure social and fun, building team morale or company culture. For example, you can Reactgy smiley faces or balloons or ta-das to things like sales victories, launching product features, or welcoming new hires. And of course, my last tip is that you're able to set reminders for yourself. This is a great way to keep track of your to-dos across multiple channels. All you have to do is a / command, remind, and then set your topic. This can act as a personal assistant in many ways. You can set personal reminders to remind yourself to get up and stretch, or remember a coworker's birthday. Or they can be, of course, professionally oriented as well, following up with someone after a meeting with results, or sending someone a deck. And the great thing about these channels and these tips and tricks that I'm mentioning are that they're working for our customers. Over 75% of our customers report that Slack has helped them feel more connected. 50% of our customers report increased transparency across their organization. and 20% report they've noticed a decrease in internal emails. Who doesn't love that? Now, let's talk a little bit about how to search across all of these channels to get the information that you need faster. The information that you're searching for takes place within the conversations in Slack, meaning that you can always track a particular message or file back to the original conversation. And this is really great, because it means that not only are you going to get the answer that you need, but often the context leading up to that answer. That kind of historical context, where people can join or leave channels as they wish, but that information remains, is something that's really special about Slack. Let's walk through a few examples. You're brand new to a project. Maybe you're doing an annual planning campaign, something with branding, or you're planning a company event like Summit or a holiday party. You can just join that project channel and quickly get up to speed, rather than play the endless game of telephone without Slack of saying, who's the main project coordinator on this, where's the project plan, etc. Instead, you can find all of those parts as you scroll back through the channel history, see who the members of the channel are, and look at the pinned documents on that channel. Another example can be said for onboarding new employees. Channels are extremely helpful for not having new hires start at 0 on day 1. With the increased visibility of working through channels, new team members have access to the information that they need to get up to speed more quickly. In fact, in a IDC research study that was co-sponsored by Slack, we found that HR teams utilizing Slack for new hires got them up to speed 24% faster. So beyond channel transparency and those tips and tricks like app mentions and highlight words, and even search, how does Slack get people up to speed that much faster? Another reason might be found in our marketplace apps. By bringing into Slack the tools that you already use, you're truly creating that collaboration hub I mentioned at the top of my time. Let's say again, you're new to a project and you're looking to get up to speed around the progress that's been made or past historical initiatives. You can use Slack to connect to your file sharing system of choice, Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, and the documents are automatically indexed and searchable from within your Slack instance. That means that you can jump right into the project on day 1, scroll through all of that channel history, but also pull in information from within your file sharing system right into Slack. Beyond being indexed and searchable, a lot of our apps also provide other time savers. The Google Drive app, for example, will check to see who is in a specific Slack channel, and if each person has access to the document that you shared in said channel. If certain individuals don't have access, the Google Drive application will prompt me to update permission settings right from within Slack. Everyone has access. I cannot tell you how much time this has saved me in sending out an accidental document that no one can get into, and then I receive 5 emails immediately afterwards asking for everyone to be able to get in. Google Drive will also send you notifications in Slack, so you can know right away when someone shared a doc with you or left a comment, and vice versa in Google Drive. This bidirectionality ensures that nothing is ever lost. It also makes things seamless by allowing you to not switch context as much or toggle between different tabs or browsers. To top it all off, note that your organization can set custom retention settings that align with your legal or compliance standards. And it doesn't stop at file management, of course. Slack has over 1,500 integrations with leading software companies across all roles and categories. Whether you're looking to share internal data, CRMs, expense approvals, paid time off, or even paid media performance information, there's so much more. These integrations are designed to be highly valuable to all of our users, bringing tasks into Slack to reduce context switching, increase transparency, and ultimately save you time. We see high engagement and usage of these apps on Slack. In some cases, these integrations actually increase the investment a customer has already made in their third-party software solution. Why? Because these apps are meeting users where their customers are, collaborating and doing their work on Slack, helping them be productive, simplifying their workflows, So much so that over 90% of our paying teams are using Slack apps. Note that you can also build your own integrations through our APIs to configure your own team's unique needs or technologies. And of course, we're also committing teams on both sides to build deeper and more robust integrations between Slack and the Atlassian family suite of products, which includes Jira Cloud, which Slack uses daily, by the way, Bitbucket Cloud, Trello, which we actually use at Slack to showcase our public-facing developer roadmap, and as Caroline mentioned, the newly announced Confluence Cloud. We are very excited to be working with Atlassian, and together we will make sure we provide as much value as possible to our joint customers. I will now hand it back over to Caroline, who will share a little bit more detail about these great tools capabilities in Slack.
Awesome. Thank you, Tessa. So as I mentioned at the start of the talk, I'm product manager. I'm part of the strategic integrations team at Atlassian. And as is suggested by the name of my team, we develop integrations between Atlassian products and also third-party products where the third party is strategically important to Atlassian. And of course, Slack is one of those. So the apps that we're going to be looking at today were actually developed by my team. So my team is distributed across multiple locations. Myself, as the product lead, as well as the design and engineering leads, are located in Sydney, Australia. We have our development team distributed across 3 cities in Europe, and we work really closely with the broader partnerships team and marketing teams who are both located in San Francisco. So what this means is that our team really runs the full gamut of time zones, and there's activity on projects across a 24-hour basis. So staying across what my team is working on can be pretty challenging. And I'd say that email notifications can be useful in solving this problem, but the inbox comes with the limitation of being a personal tool. It's not a team tool. So when I actually use Slack notifications, which are supported by the integration apps for Atlassian products, it means that I can ensure that there is a sort of consistency of subscriptions and that my entire team are viewing the same notifications. The other benefit of using Slack notifications instead of email notifications is that when my team link their Atlassian accounts to their Slack accounts, they'll actually be notified by an @mention whenever they receive a notification about being, say, added as a reviewer to a Bitbucket pull request, or if they've been mentioned in a Confluence comment. So the ability to fine-tune notifications is super important for my team. To support this, we have set up channels for each of our integrations, which we treat as projects. And each of these channels is connected to its according Bitbucket repository and also its according Jira project to receive notifications. Now, the primary members of these channels are actually the developers. So it's super important that the notifications are fine-tuned to meet their needs. So really, that means that they're receiving notifications about pull requests and the associated commentary. And on the Jira side, very few triggers. So really, it's just new issues being added to the backlog. And the point of this is that we want to make sure that there's a reduction of noise in the channels and that the notifications that are being received by the development team are going to help them move work forwards as opposed to acting as a distraction. So we also have a channel set up for the leads of the team. And this particular channel is connected to all of our Jira projects, but again, only with a few triggers. So when new issues are added to the backlog, when issues are transitioned to in progress or done, and also when comments are added to issues. with the new Confluence integration, we now have that connected to this channel as well to receive notifications. We use Confluence for all of our project documentation. So yes, for the Slack apps that we've developed, but also a range of other integration apps that we have also developed and support. However, strategic integrations is part of a broader team, that of partnerships. And so alongside our project pages are a ream of other project pages specific to the partnerships team. So things around like partner management, events, opportunities, etc. If I use the watch watch feature in Confluence, I receive emails not only about the pages that are relevant to me, but also notifications related to the pages that aren't so important to me. So now, using the Confluence app, and navigating through to the parent page of my section of the space, I can create a subscription for notifications, as you see here, where I can elect to have notifications coming through for when a child page is added, when a child page is edited, or when a child page is commented on. So this is very useful for my particular use case. Trello also has the ability to send notifications into channels. Jumping ahead here. There we go. And so what you have to actually do to unlock that capability is to use the Slack power-up. And if you use that on the particular board that you want to connect to a Slack channel, then you can elect to sort of specify which notifications you want to see related to boards, lists, cards, and also checklists. And another really handy feature with the Slack power-up is this capability around being able to send reminders, which is very useful for remembering deadlines. So once I've set that reminder, Slackbot will pop up in channel and let me know that I need to look at a particular card. So as I'm sure is becoming pretty clear right now, my team uses a lot of tools, which really is another problem in itself, which is how to retain one's focus and sanity in the face of so much app switching. How can I get my work done without having 16 million browser tabs open at any given time? So a really useful feature for this is, and this is available across all of the integration apps, is the capability to preview links. So link previews are useful in Slack because they give you a glimpse of a particular item based on the link that's being shared in a Slack channel. So without leaving my Slack channel, I can see what's happening with a Jira issue. So what's the status? Who has the issue been assigned to? All at a glance. And we know that from research done by McKinsey that 19% of the average working day is spent tracking down information, searching for information. So thinking about that, link previews actually play a really powerful role in helping users find what they're looking for because Slack indexes all of the contextual information that is displayed in a link preview. So for example, if I'm trying to find a link that was shared with me a week ago, and it was for a Confluence page, and I can remember who the author of the page was, but I can't remember the page title, then I can search for that because the link preview has helped for that info to be indexed. Equally, if I'm looking for a Jira issue, and I can remember the issue summary, but not the issue key, then equally, a link preview will support that capability. So if you are someone who's very good at remembering issue keys, then another capability within the Jira app will be very useful for you, which is that when an issue key is mentioned in a conversation and the Jira bot is present in that channel, then the link preview will be invoked in that state. So I can't tell you how useful this one is for my team in terms of being able to quickly get an update on the status of a Jira issue without having to leave my Slack channel. Developers often sending file references to each other, either to share code examples or to to illustrate where a change has to be made. When the Bitbucket bot is present in a channel, then it will again invoke a link preview, whereby the code will be inlined at the specified commit. Additionally, if the line number is included in the URL, then it will center the code snippet to that particular line. Once again, saving you a trip out of your channel. And awesomely, link previews for Atlassian products also include contextual action capabilities. So to give you a bit of a scenario around this is, so Denise, one of the developers in my team, has been working on a pull request, and he's just received the approval from his last reviewer. But he doesn't have the capability or the permissions to merge that pull request. So what he can do is he can actually drop that link into the dev channel, asking his team lead, Tim, to merge it for him. And of course, when that link is previewed, Tim can actually make use of the merge button, which will then allow him to specify his preferred merge strategy. And then the pull request is merged. So there's no need for anyone to switch context to take action. So this is a great segue into a third problem my team encounters frequently, which is how to streamline workflows and to resolve tasks quickly and keep projects moving forwards. So frequently, the need to take action arises in and amongst the conversations that we're all having in Slack. So the example that I showed you before, the pull request, is a great illustration of interactive message buttons, which are common throughout Slack. We actually support these across the Bitbucket, Confluence, and Trello apps, and they will be coming soon to the Jira app. Now, you'll see next to the merge button, which we looked at before, is the nudge reviewers button. And this is by far and away the most popular action within the Bitbucket app, because when you use this button, you will be gently reminding your teammates that you required that code reviewed yesterday. So for our dev team, really this has helped alleviate their need to passive-aggressively click the approve, unapprove button to ping the reviewers about their responsibility. So Confluence is used to collaborate on content creation. Frequently, that collaboration flows out of the editor into comments. Whether you're looking at a link preview or a notification of a comment, you can synchronize and streamline the conversation so that no matter where your teammates are commenting from, whether it's in Confluence or whether it's in Slack, you can ensure that you're all on the same page. And the Confluence integration actually has a couple of fun ways to take action on comments. So Tessa mentioned earlier Reactgy in Slack. So the Reactgy can actually serve a particular purpose when used with the Confluence integration app. If you apply a star reaction to a link preview or notification, then that page or blog will be added to your Save for Later list in Confluence. Additionally, if you apply a thumbs up reaction, then that item will be given a like in Confluence, so a page, blog post, or even a comment. So all of the apps make use of slash commands, and the first and foremost slash command to remember is help. So this is always the product name followed by help, and this will invoke a list of the other commands that are supported in the app. And the Trello integration is actually a really powerful example of how feature-rich slash commands can be. So an example of how we use the Trello slash commands is that we have a Trello board which is set up for weekly planning with our feature leads, and we've connected that to our feature leads channel. And so whenever we are having conversations in Slack and something comes up that needs to be discussed in more detail, then we can use the / command of adding to create a card on that Trello board without having to leave Slack. And so then we can use that as a sort of discussion point within our weekly planning sessions. And the other great thing is when we're presented with the resulting link preview, you'll see there that you can apply labels, but also, importantly, attach conversations. So what that does is from the weekly planning board, and specifically the card that was created, I can link back to the point in the conversation where that card was created. So basically, context is always on hand. And the importance of being able to turn Slack messages into context was one of the reasons that a couple months ago, Slack opened up their capabilities around Slack Actions to third parties. So Slack Actions can be accessed via the triple dot menu on any given message. And so for the Bitbucket app, we allow you to add a message as a comment to a pull request. For the Jira app, we actually have the ability there to add a message to an issue. And then this appears on the Jira issue in the Slack activity panel. Again, you can use this to link back to the specific conversation in Slack, so there's always context at hand. And the other thing that you'll see here is that the Slack activity panel also illustrates mentions of that given issue, so that's another way that context can be leveraged. So I wanted to finish up by talking about Jira Ops and the capabilities that we've just added to the Jira app to support it. So Jira Ops helps software and IT teams deliver an efficient incident response process, allowing them to resolve incidents faster and also learn from previous incidents. So you may ask, how does the Slack integration fit into that? So imagine that your website is down and the incident team is alerted by their given incident response tools such as Ops Genie or PagerDuty, and from there a Jira Ops ticket is created. So from this point, it should be really easy to create a Slack channel, and it is. Specifically, we wanted to ensure that there is a connection between an issue and a Slack channel, so that there is one channel dedicated to conversations around a particular incident. So with one click, you can create such a channel, and by default, the name of that channel is the same as the issue key. And when it's created, we're taken through to Slack. And of course, here you can see the conversation that's happening around resolving the incident. And by using the add to timeline capability, important messages can be included in the timeline. That is a key feature of Jira Ops. And that incident timeline is really about having a chronological sort of outline of all the things related to the incident from a variety of tools. So from this workflow, there's less time spent on repetitive tasks such as creating Slack channels or finding Slack channels. You always have the ability to click through from the issue and then back again from the Slack channel to the issue. And so there's no need at a later date to kind of rebuild a timeline from chat conversations. So that brings us to the end of the session. If you would like to get started with connecting any of the apps, then you can go to slack.atlassian.com. And also available from that URL is all the documentation related to the apps. So I hope you've learned something new either about Slack or about the apps that we support for Atlassian products. We're very excited to be working with Slack and also very excited about hopefully delivering more value to our combined customers. If you do have any questions, then Tessa and I will both be available at either the Slack booth upstairs or the Atlassian area. Great, thank you.